Lance?
Si Lance. Okay.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Si Lance yung
Ay,
una kong pinanood na na creative typology, tas message ako na message kasi.
Ako na lang
wait.
ako na lang ang open kasi useless yung mga
Okay.
hindi
Sige, sir.
hindi nag-open ng image. Pero
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So,
Sige.
sige, keep talking, Sir Gerald. Try to find the image that you're referring to, or just probably play the video on silent.
Okay, Lance. Well, I thought initially that your choice of plant is very interesting. I think its time has come. So that really got my interest. We also know for a fact that marijuana or cannabis is actually endemic to the Philippines. We have our own species here that grows quite well in the country. So I think your proposal will work. I know also for a fact that you can grow cannabis inside rooms with artificial conditions. So that's a good start, no, for discussing your work. I'm also glad you mentioned that aside from the other benefits, it has anti-inflammatory benefits also, and you connected it to the Tai Chi school across the street.
Yes.
I thought that was quite clever. I also like your choice of location. It's by the end of the bridge. And so overall, I was hoping that, because when we go through with our regular lives and we work and, at the end of the day, you just want to relax and to, let go of the pressures of the day. I was hoping I would want your center to be a place where they can go to after, no? Especially because it is located at the end of a footbridge, no? So parang wow, it would be perfect, I think, for people at the end of the day to go straight there and then relax. You also mentioned something about COVID, the benefits of cannabis to COVID.
Sorry guys,
Yes, sir.
is it visible? May nakita nyo ba?
Yes.
I see the video
Okay.
of Lance.
Yes,
Okay.
okay na, sir.
Okay.
The benefits of the against COVID is just the antiviral effect, the terpenes, cannabinoid, and that's found in my plant. So it's not really a cure or uh, like a medicine like lianopa, the pills. It's more of like uh, just like vitamins. It's just another layer of defense.
Oh, really? Great. Wow, I didn't know that.
And
Well, now,
there's a recent research about it just a week ago by Forbes. They detailed it, but
uh-huh.
I wasn't sure about it since it's very scientific. They were mentioning scientific new terms, so I wasn't able to add it to my sheets.
Okay. Uh, is you chose Charlotte's Web as the species that you are going to grow? Is that correct?
Yes.
And yeah, so is that sativa or indica?
Actually, cannabis, you can't really find if it's really sativa or indica since there's no uh, pure sample, so it's all hybridized. So Charlotte's Web is a mix of all three, and read it again and again to reach a good result, like a high CBD content and removing the THC side of cannabis.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
So you don't want people to get high inside your building.
yes,
Okay. So it's really just for medical purposes.
Sabay tawa.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Because
they
I think,
can if they wanted to, but then my intention was for medical purposes to help the community.
yeah, but as I said, if by the end of that footbridge, people would want to relax, I think that's the best place to go. For at the end of the day, I mean, for those people who would choose that, I just think that maybe that could be a choice that you
Oh,
could put in your program?
yes. Well, the thing about Charlotte's Web is it's anti-anxiety. So it's gonna be make you relaxed, but then you won't like hallucinate or have negative effects. So that's why, yeah.
But your bakery goods that you will be serving in the cafe, uh, will it have THC content?
No, it's also for relaxing. But then, uh, the modules, my plant modules are kind of applicable for a lot of strains. So if they wanted to in the future, they can also integrate a THC included strain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
then, yeah,
No, I'm talking about this because if you decide on a program that will include the effect of cannabis on people, then that could be a factor to determine how you design your spaces. You know, how will there be the level of light that they will experience, and then what they see around them, uh, because it's all very much connected to the senses. You know, when you go through the effects of cannabis. So I just thought that if that could be another program that you'd be thinking of, then there could possibly be another area where people can, you know, enjoy their the effects of that cannabis. Uh, I'm gonna, but you know, this is really, I think, an interesting typology, and I feel that it can be pushed further. So I like what you did, Lance, that you chose this. I was actually messaging Jim last night. I'm like, wow, nagulat ako kay Lance sa sa kanyang project. But you know, I think this is an idea um, which the time has come for this idea. You mentioned that wind is a big factor in the propagation of cannabis. Um,
it's not really the biggest factor. The biggest factor is natural light or lighting. The wind
mhm.
is just for making it cooler since cannabis can be exposed to great heat or extreme heat.
Okay, okay, and so the fourth, there's natural light. I uh, I like your structures, the structural system that you design. You veered away from the post and lintel, which I think is a great exploration, and you base this on the web,
Ah,
uh,
yes,
the idea
yes.
of a web. So I think it's great that you went back to your choice. You know, to of course Charlotte's Web is just a name of the plant, right? It's not really pertaining to a web or a real web inside the plant. But it's great that you connected it to that the name. You use the name of the plant that you chose and turned it into part of your design. Uh, I also appreciate the fact that you did a sequencing from square and ended up with a hexagon, because
Yes.
then that increases the amount of floor space for planting. I it's, I just thought that because you push the boundaries of the building skin, if you could have done the same horizontally with your floors, wherein one floor can flow into each other. I noticed that there are some floors or some of the levels within the floors are accessible by stairs, by a series of steps, or by high stairs. I was wondering if you can continue that undulation that you did with the building skin and then apply it horizontally into your space and make it undulate further as you go up and down the space. So maybe that was one thing that I would have loved to see. You know, when people maybe are relaxed, the chances of you tripping on the floors and the steps on the floors might increase. You know, when you do this. Um, it's great, this funnel system that you designed. I think it's a very interesting element of your building. You use copper. Beautiful, beautiful material. I'm sure terribly expensive. So yun lang. I was just wondering, why copper in particular?
Because copper is already being used as pots for plants, and if I use steel or something, it might rust.
Mhm.
So that's why copper is for uh against corrosion. Yeah, that's the word.
Against corrosion. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I
And
didn't use plastic since I wanted to continue and use it as structural something for to hold the light
hmm,
and the water.
actually, plastics is nice also, because then you'll be reusing it, this waste material, which we have a lot of. What is the material of your web envelope, building envelope?
It's steel, so the exterior one.
Okay, okay. So this project is sky's the limit when it comes to cost. Uh, I suppose, because well, that's really going to be terribly expensive. It reminds me of, is it the Prada store in Tokyo, where in it has a similar skin. I'd like to go into the floor material that you chose. I am aware that you wanted this kind of floor so that there's continuous ventilation all throughout the building. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh. But I'm just thinking, if all your floors are perforated, it could, I mean, just like in a parking building, but you'd have people inside the building, you might, at certain parts, you can plan it. You could probably have some parts that are covered, and not really exposed to the floor. Because, for example, if you're having coffee and somebody up there, with dirty shoes, is above you, it might, the dirt might go down
Yes.
to,
Actually, there's another like a funnel system just above the dispensing area and the bakery. So that's why there's an additional, just similar to the roof, but a smaller scale
uh-huh.
to protect the space
Okay, so
in the
some
middle.
parts of the space is protected.
Yes.
Or safety, please again look into the safety issues, because these are all ramps um, and quite open, no? But I do like the openness of the space. It's it reminds me of Blade Runner, that movie.
I
I don't know.
actually love that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
It
that movie.
will go well into Blade Runner, or I mean, or even the new ones now. I have a question. How high is your are your copper containers?
It's point 0.3,
Point
but then
three.
the idea is there's gonna be like uh, s- fasteners or for them to put a screw so that they can adjust the plate level
Uh-huh.
according to the size of the plant.
How much soil does it need to grow cannabis properly in a container? How deep should it be?
Wait, I have the sheets. Can I share it?
Yes. Oh,
No, let me
Jim.
know na lang which number. So I'll be the one to open it.
Number 13,
1-3.
1-3.
Can you guys see it now?
Yung
No.
Not yet, sir.
video pa din.
Is it loading?
Yung video pa din.
Nag-lag po ata yung video, sir. Kailangan
Ah,
i-present ulit.
how's that?
Wala pa.
Okay. Ikaw na lang, Lance.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, that's 50 by 50.
50 by 50, but then uh I saw it in another research because this was before I chose my plan,
Uh-huh.
the Charlotte's Web. So this wasn't updated, and I
Yeah.
just took the radius of it, like the half of the 50/50, so made it into a hexagon.
Okay. Yeah. You're actually doing a farm, Lance. That's above ground. So I think you have to be conscious of the requirements of the plant for it to be able to produce the amount of produce that you want uh, for this project. Um, can can you employ hydroponics here? Are you thinking of that?
Uh,
Because
I haven't gone into it.
I'm because I'm thinking now of the weight requirements of the amount of soil that you put on the floor. So two things. No, I mean I suspect that you might need a bigger container for the plant to grow healthier. But you also need to consider the weight of the building once you put the soil on the structure. I think this is a common consideration for everyone in this project to think of the structural requirements, especially if you are farming above ground, because that means that the weight of the soil is a factor in your design. Uh, okay. So I mentioned the stairs, the type of stairs that maybe you can play around with so that it's not just all perforated metal. Uh, I mentioned already what is the sampayan system? You mentioned the sampayan
The
system.
supply system is uh for the drying process. So
Ah,
the,
okay.
for after its harvest needs to be dried. So and
Yeah.
isa sampay.
Where does it happen again? Sorry. In the
Uh,
building?
in the building, I didn't specify, but then it could be used wherever the modules are,
Is the
just
Okay.
section
elevated.
showing?
Okay.
Can you
So
Um,
actually,
you can't see the section?
I can. I
yes,
can
I can see it.
see the section. I can see the section.
But
Uh,
then,
I have a similar comment to Jericho's. If you could have used the roof, maybe that would also be nice. Again, us city dwellers, it's actually a nice idea, a nice experience to be up on the roof. So um, I wish you'd explored the roof area kasi sayang naman
oh,
the
actually,
space.
the idea is the entire thing is just like a roof since it's without bounds. So it's like wherever you are, you're in an open space.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the reason I didn't use the roof is because it's a rainwater catchment system. So if it gets dirty and then uh, people would step on it.
But it would be worth exploring also. How will we control the water during a typhoon as it goes in? Is that something that you've thought of?
Uh, yes, but then I lack time in making a party for it. But the idea is it's gonna be stored before being pumped out to the irrigation system,
No. I
the
meant the
pipes.
I meant for the people, for the users of the building. If there's a typhoon, uh, the rain will go through the building.
Oh
Uh,
wait, there are some parts of the building that are covered by glazing, including the bakery and the processing area
mhm.
and the storage area.
Okay.
As you can see here in the photo, the on the left side, there's a thin line on the outer part of the diagram. So that's the
Uh-huh.
glass.
Okay. Um, if the whole process of planting and harvesting and then turning it into, the drying and then turning it into the final product, which could either be pills or baked goods. I don't see the middle part of that whole process in this building. So my question is, would it be possible for your building to just be the farm, and then where you serve the finished product, whether it's medicine or food, but the central the steps in between those can be housed in a different place and then processed separately.
Oh, well, I included it here actually in a small space on the second floor. But
Uh,
yes,
you mean the harvesting and then the drying and then the
uh,
processing
the processing
into,
like the machines and the carboxylation machines. I
yeah,
included it in the floor plan.
you did. So how will that, can you just quickly run through if somebody harvests, let's say the flowers or the buds, then it goes through.
Can you share? Okay. You can share
Sige,
land.
sir, wait lang. So, wait. So we actually did a synthesis uh, map of the flowcharts. So sorry, wait lang. So here it's actually not very detailed yet because then this area is
Oh,
for the processing area. This the shredder and the
uh-huh.
carboxylation. So
Okay.
from being the plant, it's dried and then shredded into pieces onto, and then it's processed on the carboxylation machine, and then that takes away the CBD content of it, and then from that it's heated up to activate the CBD
Uh-huh.
chemicals. Then from
Okay.
that, the oil will be moved to the bakery
All
to
right.
be
All right.
served, or moved here on the storage area, like a hole on the here on the floor, so you can move it into the storage area.
Uh-huh. What is the approximate floor area of number 11?
Number 11, it's
Pro-
this bakery and the dispensing area is 60 square meters. So this is
Mm,
probably around 80 kasi ito lang yung maliit na space.
80
So
square.
that's around 80 square.
Okay. Okay. And that's partially closed and
Yes,
partially
it's
open.
closed away with these doors here.
Okay.
So this is the staff area, the managers.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. I really enjoyed reviewing your work plans. Just one thing. I was hoping that there would be a system to hang art or to put art in the space, because, or big screens, and music, of course, and soft areas where you can lounge. You want to lounge if you are relaxed.
Oh, here there's a sofa that's in the shape of the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Uh-huh.
really a party, but
Is
I
that a
enjoy
bar?
doing that.
Is that a bar?
This is the market area. So this is the cashier, but then this is the uh for example, if you want to talk to the people in the site, like what's good for me, how much CBD content do I need? So the there's
Make a
this is
bar.
the space. So yeah,
Make a
like a
bar with
lounging
your
space.
shop, because then that would be a total experience for the goers. As I said, it's a really attractive place, and with the design of your building, it's really going to stand out in the space. Galing, galing.
This is the sofa area, and this is the market where we
Uh,
can put pieces.
yeah. Maybe my other comment would be to, if you can just make the whole space softer. I don't know. It's very metallic, which gives it a very hard, look. And I guess impression when you're in there, when you brush against metal, it's quite cold. So if you can just sort of soften it. And I was just wondering also in your site dev, there seems to be an area around the the building. Can I see if so
Oh, what
is
do
that
you mean?
is that open space in
Here?
around? Yeah.
Actually, I couldn't see. I took a photo of this aerial photo, but then I couldn't see what's here. So I assumed it's a courtyard
It's a building.
that's
Is
closed
that
off. No,
okay?
this is open.
All
This
right.
is a building, so it's almost sandwiched.
But the open area is not part of your site, is
No,
it?
no,
It's
no.
not. The front part, those are just decorative elements. Uh,
Which
the,
this
the
part?
the front part of your land, the setback from the street, is that still part of your site?
Ah, yes. This is for provision for parking space.
Okay. All right. All right. No, because I was thinking, if you have land that's open, on your site to plant more of the cannabis on available land, because I don't know if you've computed the volume of the plants and how much yield it will give
Yes, I
um,
have computed it.
for your for your needs. So is that enough for?
Yes, it's more than enough since every square meter of uh plant gives 125 bottles of this 30 ml bottles, the dropper. So uh my site is around 450 square meters. So 450 times 125 bottles, it's gonna be so much. And then this is on a cycle of 5 times a year.
Yeah, but you only need to count the planted areas when you compute, not the whole floor area. Only the planted areas, right?
Well, the actually wait, sorry. The actual lot area pala is 650. The
Yeah.
400 plus is just an estimate.
Okay, so yeah, but when you do your computation, you compute the planted areas where you have the copper pots, to be able to get that. But yeah, I'm sure if you can if it's a strain that will be able to produce uh, the ingredients that you need, even if it's not so much, depending on its potency, then maybe Charlotte's Web would work. And yeah, so nice, nice. This made me think. Your project made me think in terms of its viability. And I know that cannabis is a hardy plant. Kaya nga grass ang tawag eh. Kasi it grows everywhere. It's a hardy plant. And if you're able to get a strain that's endemic to the Philippines, then I think your project will be more successful because the plants will flourish more. So yon.
Yeah, I wish
Great.
I found one, but it's illegal here.
I know it's illegal. So let's just imagine, for the sake of this session, that it's been legalized in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Oops.
Lance. Thank you.
Thank you for the
Okay.
comments, sir. Hi, Cooks.
So actually sa creative typology, sa'yo yung una kong chinek kasi ginawa ko galing sa dulo. Ganun ako mag-check, hindi galing dun sa simula. So when I
Constructed.
checked on the creative typology, I started with yours and it was a tough act to follow for the other creative typologies. First, nung nakita ko kasi I was trying to find the video, I saw your renders. I thought, eto nagmula ako. Your renders, they're so nice, sabi ko. Drawings are also impressive. Ayan.
Yeah.
Tapos, I already feel the otherworldliness of your output, which means you have hit the mark somewhere there. And meron akong comment later na medyo mas malala pa yan. Tapos, yung una kasi hindi ko pa naintindihan yung diagrid system. Yung initial impression ko, nilagay ko kagad from the rendering na gumamit ka ng Voronoi. Sabi ko, not a fan. Baka kasi randomized yung paggawa mo. Better ways of utilizing it, like picking points and creating a Voronoi-based on the parameter of points that you have chosen, which I think you have done that one. Kung vinolonoy mo man yung diagrid external skin system, I think you have done that properly by creating proper gridded out points to create that diagrid system na hexagonal. So I think that was also that was a good move to be able to control yung Voronoi and to be able to really not be just a tool na merong magagawa, but you actually control it by creating the points. I like the lo-fi sounds of your Voronoi is Voronoi.
Ay,
Voronoi.
sorry. Nalito ako.
R-O O-N-O-I. Yan.
Oh,
Voronoi. Yan. That one.
okay. I'll look
Kasi,
into it later.
and then, yung sabi ko, oh, it's a cannabis building. Interesting yan. On the chosen plant, natawa ako dun sa sinabi mo. Sabi mo, I wanted something that's relevant to today's time, which is a pandemic. Tapos, tapos sabi ko, how
Tama
is
yan.
cannabis related to the pandemic?
You need to
You
relax.
high. Naka-all caps, you high. Tapos tawang-tawa ako. Kaso, I like naman yung explanation mo on the benefits. But of course, we won't say that it will heal people sa pandemic. But there are benefits of pandemic that is actually very, I mean, pandemic. Benefits of the cannabis that is relevant naman everywhere, 'di ba? Yung because of the content that they have. So it was good that you said and really mentioned that you will pick a plant that has a low THC content because yun yung nagbibigay ng high, ganun. Kaso natawa ako yung pangalan nung project mo is high design. Tapos sabi ko, so hindi na high. Kaso high.
That's the fun.
Wala lang. yun yung mga comments ko na natatawa lang ako na ano. Tapos and then connecting it to healthy properties, that is very good. Okay. But I said you don't need to connect it to the pandemic because cannabis isn't a medicine for COVID. Pagka nawala na yung pandemic, edi irrelevant na yung building mo. May ganun din yan. And you should sound like you have you just sound like you have a dose of THC. Natatawa ako. So, very good premise on the sunlight. I really like that one. Also, yung sinabi mo, how much sunlight you need. 16 hours of light, 12 hours of light on flowers. Ganun. I like that information. So, nandun na justify mo yung use of lights and you growing it indoors, which I really like also. Tapos sabi mo, yung sa tabing building with gym goers, to lay low dyan. Tapos natawa na naman ako. Oh my God! Lay low after a session. Yung sabi mo talaga after a session. Tapos natatawa talaga ako sabi storytelling mo. But it's all well good. It keeps it very interesting. And then, next, when you said dun sa may like bakery, brownies, I asked, can't it be something else though? Lalo na ngayon in the US, marami ng states na legalized yan and they're actually moving away from using space brownies and they're actually doing a lot of meron silang cannabis cuisine, di ba? That would have also been an interesting thing to do rather than just the conventional brownies.
Tama.
So,
Yeah.
I agree.
Actually, the reason I started with the cannabis is I saw news about Thailand. They opened shops, may mga sandwich na with the entire leaf on it.
oh, that's wild.
So yeah, that's why bakery. So it covers those
Mhm.
parts. So you can make maybe even the bread is mixed with cannabis oil.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah. So the dispensing area is for the
yeah.
drinks naman.
Oh, okay. Okay. Kasi yung isang ano ko nung after nun, sinabi ko, food establishment for the pedestrian traffic is good. So, I think it would have also been a nice point to point out na having a type of food establishment that caters to the pedestrian traffic, then it would be super duper well justified yung pick mo of the type of food establishment that you would put in there. Although it's a very good idea to put that food establishment, so I was hoping that it is somewhat a cafe ganon. And hopefully you did more research about what food ganon, and you can do so with your store accordingly. So this was just parang naghanap lang ng maybe some sort of exploration of what the store could be. Para you just know your options and then, oh, this is the best option. Parang ganun yung hinhanap lang na reasoning. It's not just, oh, kasi meron ng ano. So that was just what was being pointed out there. So although these ideas are good injections to further hybridize your architecture, you must be careful on when it is too much and when sakto lang. So I don't know really yet about yung bakit may nakalagay na ano, yung sa tawid na may mention ka about din sa medium goers, ganun na place. So, I'm not sure lang kung it's too much or na sobrang hybridized na yung program or sakto lang. So, parang yun yung wonder lang ako dun sa comment na yun. So, yung multiple platforms, sabi ko, that's a lot of work yung ginawa mo and that is actually executed properly in my opinion. The diagrid, ay ito pala yung isang comment ko na ano, the one that I really really like about your project, which I hope everyone will be able to hear this. Alam niyo yung ano, when sometimes nagtuturo ako sa may ano, actually sa may review center, and then we go on the isms and we go dun sa prairie houses, and then I show yung isang bahay, yung Robbie House, the Frank Lloyd Wright. I tell them na it's actually a very nice house because yung prairie houses are very horizontal, and what Frank Lloyd Wright did, yung form is very horizontal. Yung eaves, kita mo yung horizontality. Yung parapet, kita mo yung horizontality. Hanggang sa gamit ng brick niya, kita mo yung horizontality. Sobrang flat, horizontal yung bricks. And it was thought through and through. And you know the designer is very sensitive about these things and they really apply it properly. As for you, the diagrid is almost the same as your platforms, which is almost the same as your pots, which is also the same as your flooring and your mesh material, which is also the same as your roofing, which is also the same as your sofa, which is everywhere in your architecture, and that is something that you should strive and push for. So that's something that's super commendable on what you did. You're very sensitive on that. You made everything very cohesive hanggang sa sinabi mo, yung sofa na nilagay ko, kasi parang shape siya nung lot, but it was also the shape of your architecture. And even the building footprint is also similar to the shape of your diagram. So it's so holistic and cohesive through and through yung detail na ginawa mo yan. And it's very clever. It's something very difficult to pull off. And I think you managed to pull that off. And yun yung very cohesive, isang
The pair
cohesive
Frank
thing
Lloyd
sa ano
Wright
mo.
also. So,
Mm-mm.
tama yung example mo na Robbie House.
Yeah.
This overall
Yeah,
design.
'di ba? 'Di ba? Ang ganda nung paggagawa niya ng lahat ng elements na 'yon. It's even doon sa railing niya, yung mesh na nilagay niya, it's
Mhm.
still the same. The element is recurring and please keep that sensitivity and improve upon it further. It's something na people will drool on. It's something very very nice. Ayun. Yung sabi ko rin pala, sabi ano, hindi ko nasabi. It feels very Zaha did Architects. Kasi naisip ko yung pedestrian bridge. Yan yung high line above the Pasig River. Tapos nandun yung 520 West 28th Street condominium ni Zaha. Kasi parang naka-diagrid din siya na organic. So parang yun lang din yung naisip ko on the onset. But it's not a bad thing. So architectural form, sorry?
Parang ito din.
Di ba parang yun dun sa highline kasi pedestrian bridge. Tapos merong ganyang building. So I just thought it was a funny comparison. And so architectural form is very good, and also having a web as an inspiration from the Charlotte's Web. Although it's just in the name, but it was a good, but fine. I was fine with that one, and I think it was justified naman on how it is through and through yung pag-connect mo ng one point to the other nung concept mo. That's why I really also like your project so much. Other than it looks amazing. Yan. So process up to the detail of the pots are good. Although I wish there was already something integrated in the architecture rather than you just designing the pots na movable. So I think that was something that could be improved on. It's really part of the architecture, and what was suggested by Sir Gerry, which was yung mga like hydroponic system, that would have been really really good also if you had that kind of system in your architecture. But it would have been probably ang dami ng kung ano nang nangyayari with the architecture. But mostly yun yung pwedeng mangyari to really make it part of the architecture. So aesthetically, the project is also impressive. 3D wise, alam ko matabaho yan. I know that you, Lance, won't ever forget this project, and I hope you're happy how it has turned out. Wait, my dog is barking again. Yes, pumasok sa kotse. Ano pumasok? Pasok labas kasi siya ng pasok labas yan. So yung funnel, nung una, sinabi ko, I'm not sure what the funnel does kasi nakita ko all throughout the architecture. And then, yun dun sa presentation mo, sinabi mo, it is a rainwater catchment system. Tapos sabi ko, late ko na nalaman. I hope you were able to tell it much earlier in the story, and it would have been a much better storytelling than what it is currently now, which is actually very good din yung storytelling mo. So, ayan, is the architecture holistic? Tapos, yes, sobrang holistic ka from macro to micro. So, it's a very clean and well done project all throughout. Tapos sabi ko, 22. Baliw ako kasi hindi ganyan yung gagawin ko. Parang, I wanna know the process of your 3D model kasi sobrang matetalye. Although, alam naman nila sir yan. Pagka nag-model din ako, medyo baliw-baliw yung model ko. So, ayun, yung tanong ko, paano yung process mo when you were doing this 3-dimensionally? Yung entire,
Sobrang struggle.
diba?
But then I
Sipag.
started with the diagrid. So,
Mhm.
detail ba yung how
No,
I did it in
the
Rhino?
entire form, like how you did it, like yung diagrid, how you did the diagrid, how you did the platforms, parang minano-mano mo ba yan isa-isa. So parang interested lang ako dun sa may drawing process mo talaga. Like really on the process of creating this 3D model.
So first I thought of the zoning, but then I didn't show it here kasi I didn't
Yeah,
follow it na
yeah,
since
yeah,
it was on my other iterations.
yeah.
And then here I did it like just enveloping structure, like there's a way here to go up and the other side, and there's always two ways to go up. So through that I started with the platforms here. Tapos kinabit-kabit ko lang siya. Tapos I followed the points where the diagram
Oh, okay,
intersects.
okay.
So from that, the platforms should
Parang
be
umakit-akit na.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so maganda din yung process of
Yeah.
of
So
drawing mo.
the platforms lands are supported through the intersections.
that's the idea, but then when I was doing it, it was actually not feasible since the height of the intersections were 1.2, so I had to include an interval. So in the middle, there's also an additional platform,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So basically, in 2 points, there's 3 platforms. That's the idea.
Mhm. Yeah. And then my last comment sa'yo, could I see the renders again? Yung maski na yung yan lang mga ano lang. So I said sa may renders mo, maybe may renders ka sana na yung talaga nag-emphasize sa very beautiful scenes or shots of experience with the architecture. Like this one is probably one of those, but kung meron isa na maybe like naka-close up dito sa may upuan, so you can actually really imagine what if you're sitting there, yung makikita mo yung depth of the architecture and really know the feel of the architecture. I think actually dun sa iba din, yung renders were mostly macro. I think it lacks. This one is very experiential yung render. So it would be something na if you don't know what to render na iba, yung mga very nice shots lang ng render of how the experience of the space can be and yung feeling ng architecture. Even, like if it's somewhat like a blank wall but makikita mo yung shadows ng architecture na mapupunta dun sa blank wall. Yung mga ganun very poetic things that you can add dun to improve your presentation na tayo-tayo yung mga nakaka-appreciate ng type
Okay.
renders.
Yes.
So yun yung mga some things that could be even more added. But overall, this is one of my faves and sobrang ganda niya and I really like how holistic it is from the macro to the micro and I really appreciate it. So job well done talaga. So
Thank you.
wild.
Thank you so much.
Wild.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sir Jerry. Thank you, Cooks.
Okay,
Sure.
congrats. You love it.
Congrats.